So our next storyteller is Hannah Tellier. And a little factoid about Hannah is that she used to do trapeze and has a video if you want to see it. The title of her story is Wonderland.
All right, let me ask you a question before I start. Well, a couple questions. Have you ever heard of morphine? Codeine, hydrocodone, hydromorphone, oxycodone? What about Dilaudid? Percocet? Things like that? How about heroin? Yeah, that's the one that everyone's heard of. That is the answer to so many questions. What did you take? What's in that bag? What is that? What did you snort? Heroin. It comes in so many forms. So many people talk about the opiate epidemic, but what is it? What does it mean? What's really happening? And what are we doing to stop it? Tuesday night, or technically Wednesday morning, it's midnight. The tones go off. They ring through the station. My partner and I are jerked awake. We hear the scratchy voice of the dispatcher come over the radio. Attention, Revere Fire Department. Engine 1 in the ambulance, respond to the Wonderland MBTA station for the man down. That's Engine 1 in the ambulance, respond to the Wonderland MBTA station for a man down. Man down could be anything. It could be a sleeping homeless man. It could be a guy that fell on the tracks. It could be somebody got hit by a car. It could literally be anything. I sit up on the couch after my 20 minutes of sleep, look at my partner from across the room, and he's sitting there like this. I feel the same exact way. We get up and kind of force ourselves out of our, well, not out, but off of our couches. I pull on the boots that I've already been wearing for 20 hours, and I glance at my scrawny little body in the window reflection, wondering why the hell I chose a job where I regularly lift people more than twice my weight. We walk out to the garage, and we get in the truck. My partner gets in the driver's seat, and I open the bay doors. Jump in the passenger seat, we flip on the lights, and we fly down the streets of Revere. When we get on scene at Wonderland, the fire engine's there, a couple cop cars. The radio is pretty quiet, so usually that means that it's nothing big. It's probably just a drunk guy. But we show up. I walk up to a crowd of firefighters and cops, and one of the firefighters comes up to me and says, we found him on the ground, so we started CPR. And we found this needle next to him, so we gave him Narcan. It's pretty simple. I look down, and there's a guy, maybe like 40, not breathing, on the ground, just there, in the middle of the train station. So, cops are doing CPR. Firefighter had given, amazingly, 1 dose of Narcan. Usually they give 6 in a span of like 5 minutes. Then the person wakes up trying to kill you. But I looked down at him. Just this guy. He's in all his, like, he's just dead. Overdosed. On the ground. My partner throws the first in bag on the ground, pulls out a dose of Narcan, shoves the thing up the guy's nose, and pushes the plunger. Do you know what bagging is? If you bag a person, you have this little bag filled with air, and you squeeze it, and it pumps air into their lungs so they can breathe. We're sitting there for what literally feels like an eternity, bagging this dude, trying to get him to breathe again, trying to get him to wake up. All of a sudden, he's just lying there like this. All of a sudden, he opens his eyes. He opens his eyes, and he looks at me. He just looks at me, takes a big, gasping breath, and looks at me. I looked at him and I said, "Hey, what'd you take?" He just goes, sits up, vomits, and looks at me. We're just here to help you. You're not in trouble. Let's just take a ride to the hospital. You can get in our truck. Everything's going to be fine. He just looks at me. Then, all of a sudden, just like that, he gets up and he's running. Literally, no joke, running. The cops chased him for about 100 feet and then gave up. Because, you know, our job really isn't about running. We said goodnight to the firefighters and the cops. I went and wrote my report, and we left. You know, I try so hard. I try so hard to help these people, and I try to want to help these people. But when things like this, and I know it sounds funny, but when things like this happen multiple times a day, sometimes multiple times a week, it's so hard. Some people don't want the help yet, and I can't force it on them. We see some people twice a day. We see some people 4 times a day. The hospitals are burned out. It's hard. So many people ask me, don't you try and help them? Don't you chase them? Don't you care? Of course I care. I do this job because I care. I don't know if what I'm doing is helping. And I don't know if there is anything more that I can do. But I do know that I'm trying. And what I'm doing, all I'm doing is trying. I am trying to help people. And to the people who ask me those questions, why don't you ask yourself, what can you do to help? What are you doing to help? Our country is broken. It's falling apart at the seams. We're failing ourselves, and we're failing each other. And I know that it's hard to think about things like that. But there's something that we can do, and there's something that can be done to fix this. I just don't know what it is. You know, Wonderland may be the end of the line in Revere, but addiction, overdoses, it doesn't have to be the end of the line for anybody. That's it. Thank you.